welcome. I'm your host Ruby Gill, and I feel honored to welcome you all on the behalf of lovely professional university. So attendees, what do you think the essence of today's webinar? Well, I'm glad to share with much excitement that today our expert will deliver his expertise and make us learn about emotional design, or to make products that people will love. I'm sure you all are much excited as I am to be the part of today's learning process. So kindly allow me to introduce our expert. Mr. Rajat Bhattacharya, Professor, School of Design, lovely professional university. A seasoned personality with experience of 45 years in fashion and manufacturing industry. He traveled and lived all over the world, creating over a dozen joint ventures such as Lacoste France, Cornellini La Perla, and Benetton Turag in Italy, Spain, Singapore, and many more countries. Simultaneously, he has been involved in education sector and set up a Pearl Academy in Dhaka, and he is a co-founder of India's first luxury business school, Luxury Connect. Moreover, Mr. Bhattacharya is also on the board of directors of International Business School, Washington. So, sir, thank you so much. It's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you for joining. Additionally, I would like to welcome Mr. Feroz Khan, Assistant Professor, School of Design, lovely professional university. A dashing personality who is connoisseur of luxurious Indian couture with a degree from National Institute of Fashion Technology, New Delhi. With an experience of more than 13 years as a professional, he has worked with renowned brands like Acro Luxury, Anjali, and Arjun Kapoor. Moreover, he is running his eponymous brand of Indian wear, creating high-end handcrafted Indian garments with utmost detailing. So, sir, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time today. Furthermore, I would like to welcome our admission expert, Mr. Neeraj Sharma, Senior Officer, lovely professional university. With an experience of 15 years, his expertise lies in business development, marketing, and product promotion. And attendees today, he'll give you an insight of fee eligibility and scholarship, which I'm sure will make you save a lot of money. And in addition to that, he'll also be sharing the infrastructure part of the university. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with this, I welcome you all again to the webinar and looking forward for a great interactive session. So over to you, Mr. Feroz Khan, sir, for the content of the day.
Thank you so much, Ruby. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. So I'll just share my screen. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is.
Perfect. So yeah. So good evening, everyone. My name is Feroz, and as Ruby has already introduced me, so today we are going to be having a session on emotional design. That is how to make product people love. Okay, this is something very, very interesting that is happening across the globe in almost every design domain. Design has become very, very important in day-to-day life as well as in professional life as well. I'm sure all of you would love to see product that your eyes adore. They like to see what is happening across the world in interesting way. There are so many things. If you see what is emotional design per se, let's have a look at what is emotional design. Emotional design is a design approach to create product that deliver positive experiences for users. This is very, very interesting. All these small products that you see on your screen are interestingly done. They're very, very small lifestyle product, but they have an emotional connect to it. Like for example, the one that you see on your left side is a very, very simple, very, very minimalistic design of a sparrow. And this product is basically connecting you to your childhood memories, where you see little sparrows moving around on your terrace. This is one of the species that is going extinct, but I have emotional connect to it. We used to see these small little animals, birds moving around in the terrace. What you see here is an interesting approach. How do you get a piece of that memory into your house? And that's what we call emotional designs, where basically you are trying to connect to those designs in the very, very minimalistic form. Okay, it can be as small as a small product, like here what you see is a pencil holder, and it can be as big as architect. It can be as humongous as a building, right? So on the right side, what you see here is another very interesting take on speaker. It's a very, very interesting take on a speaker of an animal form, which is beautifully done. And the moment you enter a store which have products like this, you will realize that you are starting to like them. I'm sure there is no reason you won't say, oh my god, this product looks really nice, and it has certain memories attached to it, right? So this is what we call emotional design, where you are involving your emotions, where using a design as a tool to create products that are emotionally attachable, right? So here again, these are very, very simple design that you see. Let me just minimize this. How do I do that? Yeah. Again, what you see here on your screen, a very, very minimalistic design, but they have certain emotional attached to it, right? For example, you see pop, such beautifully crafted products, where you see a bear hugging a plant, right? So these are products that will make you realize that you have a memory attached to them. So as I said before, that product design is emotional design is not just creating small product. It is about creating memories. So what you see here on the screen is a colorful blast of colors in as huge as buildings. So you can see a product which looks like tunnels. It have very little memories. If you see, if we talk about India, in Mumbai, you see a lot of slum areas where people stay in a cluttered setting, right? So these designs, what you see here, again, it's going to attach you to certain memories. If you have seen Slumdog Millionaire, right? So you can see those slums there, and these kind of techniques, this kind of Chinese approach towards building making is also interesting. What you see here in the center image is again a very interesting caricaturistic approach towards design. So a building is designed, in fact, painted like it is a caricature, caricature. So it will give you memories about cartoons that kids see these days. It gives you memories about other things, what you see in the childhood, right? So another very, very interesting emotional design that you see is the balconies. So you can see interesting balconies here. So now let's talk about how do you get such ideas. It is very important to understand while you're designing something, how do you get the ideas? So there are so many ways to get the ideas. First, you can find a problem around you. What is wrong that's happening around you, and how can you change those problems? So basically, you have a problem, then you think about that problem, and then you find a solution. This is a very, very interesting way to create something innovative, something nice, and something very, very personalized. The moment you change a problem by emotionally getting attached to it, it becomes an emotional design. It is very, very interesting to understand this. So another very, very interesting area where a lot of emotional design has been used and is being used is packaging. It's wonderful to see interesting packaging these days, and packaging has become very, very important and crucial part of marketing too, right? So you can see in the images that you see on the screen right now are packaging for tea bags. How tea bags have different memories, different culture coming in together by the virtue of figures that are being used, by the virtue of colors that are being used in packaging, and how you connect to them. A very interesting brand that is worth noting here is Chumba. I don't know how many of you have seen the brand and how they market themselves, how they connect to their client. It is very, very interesting to see how Chumbak is catering to and how it has become such a success in a very, very short span of time. It's just that it knows how to connect to you as a client. So emotional design also teaches you how to connect to your client by virtue of colors, by virtue of packaging, and by virtue of form generation, right? So here on the other side of the screen, which is on the right side, you can see interesting, innovative packaging. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was showing him a lip balm, and the packaging of that lip balm was so interestingly done. And the reason I bought that packet was just because of the packaging. I could connect to it, right? So that connect, whenever you have a connect to a product, that means there's certain emotional attachment to it. So that's the beauty of emotional design. Another very, very interesting pictures that are here on your screen are a sitting arrangement. As I've already talked about emotional design in small lifestyle product. I've shown you emotional designs used in buildings, and here what you see is interior. So interior is also very, very important part of anyone's life. You sit at home, you have bed, you have sofas, you have furniture, you have almiras, you have a lot of things. And imagine if you get connected to them emotionally, how are they designed, what is the utility of that? It suddenly gives you much more attachment to a product. And this is what, as a designer, we should be using as our strength. How to connect to our client, how a client would like to be attached to a product. Believe me, it is people like to spend a lot of money for products that they can connect to. It is very, very interesting. Now what you see on the extreme right here, oops, is webcam. Can you see how interestingly this is done? A doodle, maybe just seeing using a shades to look around, and how interestingly the colors are used, how beautifully the shapes are designed, and how you can connect to it. There is no way that if you have entered a store which got product which can really get to you, you don't mind spending money on it. Every time I, as a designer, walk into Chumbak store, I always land up buying something or the other, because it can really invoke some kind of emotion. Or this reminds me of an owl, this reminds me of peacock, this reminds me of a cushion that I had long time back, this reminds me of something that I saw in Jaipur, let me buy it from Chumbak. So this is how a product is communicating. This is how a product is connecting to our client. Okay. uh, Another very, very simple but yet powerful product that you see on your screen, connectivity. You can see such beautifully carved handles of the door, which is in the form of a snake, and I've seen it myself in one of the hotels, and it's beautifully done. It's kind of spooky, but yes, it has certain emotions attached to it. Another very, very interesting yet simple yet small, very impactful tea bag holder for a cup in the form of a snail, right? And the other picture is another very interesting picture of how a bear is poking out from the wall and holding the curtain. This these small products actually builds up your character to the any room that you want to display them in, right? So it is very, very interesting to understand how this product also changes the vibes around you. It is very, very interesting, because these products are emotionally designed, emotionally marketed, and emotionally displayed. So these three parameters really help you to build up that aura. And believe you me on this, that I have walked into rooms with such interesting items bought and displayed in someone's drawing room, and it really creates that beautiful connect to anyone who walks into that room. So now let's talk about what is the problem and why do you want to address that problem. Okay, so another very interesting, very emotional design that you see on your screen is just a paintbrush. It is just a paintbrush, but the beautifully it is designed, the beautifully it shows that how an old man is having fringes or a goatee, and by the end of it, the product remains a brush itself, right? But what you see here is you emotionally connect to it. You just buy it for the visual appeal of it. Okay, so that's charm of a product that is emotionally designed. So you see a problem and you want to change that problem. For example, you pick up maybe a bell like this. Okay, this is just a simple bell that you see, but it's a very old way of designing a bell. Now you want to introduce them into a new package. You want to make it better looking, which suits your desk. So what you see here is a scope. You see a problem here that you want to change the design of this, and you want to connect it to you or connect it to anyone that you want to sell. So what I see here is a problem and a will to change this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about unorthodox solution. How do I want to change? How do I want to see my product, right? And then you start thinking creative. How can I do that, right? A paintbrush remained a paintbrush, but interestingly packaged, make it worthwhile to look at. So how do you improve that creativity? How you improve your emotional creativity? The first thing is observe. Okay, this is extremely important trait of a designer. If you are an aspiring designer, or you want to design yourself, if you are not a designer also, but you have a certain observation, if you want to change things around you, so what you need to do is observe. So observation is extremely important to make your creativity go. Okay, so the more you observe, the more you think about that problem, the more you think about the solution. Okay, so these are three images that you see on my screen. One is on the left, center, and the right. So every time you're going to look at these images, you're going to think about something else. I usually say that it is not possible as a designer that that you look at something and it does not give you a memory. There is no possibility. Okay, so you if you're an experienced person, if you observe a lot, everything that you see around is going to give you a memory. For example, if I show you a green color, so there are people who are going to say that green represent nature, it reminds you of tree, it reminds you of other things in life. So even a color, for that matter, has got memories. The product that you see on your screen is going to give you different memories depending on where you have created those memories, right? So for example, when I'm looking at the picture on my right, it shows me that caricature that we used to draw in school, a boy like this, right? It also reminds me of a sadhu or a saint sitting on the Himalayas with that wooden holding where he keeps his hand. It reminds me of that. The second picture reminds me of an angry boy who is trying to pull up a plug very strongly. Okay, he wants something and he's trying to pull it, right? And the third design that you all see on your screen is just a simple chair design, but it reminds me of a girl wearing a headband. It reminds me of a design of a rainbow, right? So every picture that you see on your screen is going to give you certain level of memory. The more memories a product tends to have, the more emotional it becomes. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about from a consumer point of view. Like agar mujhe kuch kharidna, if I have to buy something, so how I am going to connect it, right? So now let's think about it from a designer's point of view. How much emotions are you planning that a product should invoke in a customer is my question. Kitna memory, how much memory do I need to put in, right? So if, say for example, if I have to design a product which is like a plug holder, what memories I want my clients to have while making that product. So if I have to do it, it reminds me of my sister running around the house, hiding all those plug points where my niece is putting her bare fingers into, right? And my sister is always trying to hide those. So what I see is a problem. I see a problem in the design of a plug board. But a plug board, there are designs available in the market which look very orthodox, बहुत पुराने तरीके के होते हैं. They are very simple, very jaded. But how, as a designer, it's my duty to make things much better. So how do I design it? I came up with this idea which is in the center. You know, a angry kid trying to pull up the plug and trying to plug in his finger or her finger, right? So this is how I innovated the design. Okay. So now again, very minimalistic, very simple design, what you see on your screen. The first picture is a sweet packaging where you have cashews, where you have dates, where you have almonds packaged in a shape of a cocoon. Okay, and how beautifully these things are done. And there are bakeries, there are patisseries in Delhi, I've seen it myself, who are making such brilliant packaging. The moment you see, it reminds you of a seashell that you must have picked up from a seashore. The moment I see them, I'm emotionally attached to it. No matter what is the money, if I'm ready to pay a certain amount for a product, I'll definitely go and buy them, right? A product that you see as a glass stand, where you can just comfortably place your glass. You don't have to really think about losing them. There are people who keep on their glasses on the head or under tuck in the shirt, and they're looking around, right? So this product is emotional. It reminds you of an old person who's kind of trying to relocate his glasses every time it's off the faces, right? So you can have a look at this, such beautifully designed small product, emotionally involving the candidates or the customer. Another very interesting package design that you see on your right, on your right, is tea bag packaging. It reminds you of a multi-design store where garments are displayed in a corner, in a rectangle form. But here there are no garments. What you see here is a tea bag, interestingly designed to hang it in a cup, and it looks very interesting. These packaging, these products that are that really tells you uh, that really makes a product very interesting. Okay. Another very minimalistic design that you see on your screen is the center design, which is a table. Interestingly use of colors, very minimalistic, very geometric, very clean lines, and it reminds you of Japanese sensibilities, where it is extremely clean. Maybe a Japanese tour that you have done a few years back, and suddenly when you see a product, it reminds you of Japan. Since we have talked a lot about the small products, now let's talk about something as big as um, uh, uh, a bridge, which reminds you of a DNA shape, right? You can see how interestingly this bridge has done. It is a suspension bridge, and beautifully designed in the form of a DNA. When you look at the aerial view of this particular beautiful facade, what you'll realize is that it is actually a DNA. Another very interesting building that you see in Thailand is a fingerprint building, where the whole building is designed in the form of a fingerprint. Um, when you look at the aerial design of this particular building, you will realize that it is an impression of a thumb. So the moment you see that building, you will realize, oh my God, you can connect to it, because it is very what you see, thumb impression is very individualistic. No two human beings have the same thumbprint. So this building stand tall, it becomes very interesting, very emotionally attached to, very fascinating. So so now fashion, as all of you know, that design is a language. It is a language that is that binds a lot of communities, that binds a lot of culture. It binds a lot of universal um, uh, uh, philosophies, right? So design is a common language that runs up or across every creative person. If you think creative, it's not essentially that you're going to be only thinking about fashion. You can talk about fashion product, you can talk about luxury invitation cards, you can talk about home furnishing, you can talk about product designing, you can talk about website designing, you can talk about textile design, you can talk about a lot of designs, right? So what I am going to be continuing with is fashion per se, where you can emotionally attach to your customer by the virtue of illustrations, by virtue of how to mix those emotions into garment. I'm sure there are each one of you have certain garments in your wardrobe where you are emotionally attached to them, right? Maybe because your first relationship, you were in relationship with someone and someone has given you a t-shirt or a jeans, or your parent have given it, your masi has given it, mosa has given it, anyone. So every garment also have some emotion attached to it. Every garment's got memory, how it got into your wardrobe, who bought it that into your wardrobe, was it gifted, was it not gifted, was it from your first salary or not, right? Every garment also have certain emotions to it, right? So this is extremely important to understand, that fashion is a very good channel to balance out those emotions, and it connect to your client. So um, uh, I don't know how many of you know that there is a board that we create before every fashion design project. It's called mood board, right? A mood board is very important, because that's where you start connecting to your client, where you want to tell them what to wear with what. Okay. Again, what you see on your screen is it's a beautiful garment designed by John Galliano. This particular picture on the second from the left, which is a beautiful picture of a woman soft looking sideways in a very nostalgic way, right? It is an art piece created by an artist called Benjamin Shine, and John Galliano had a look at his one of his exhibition, and he decided to incorporate that art piece into his garment, and that's how he created the garment that you see on your left, a beautiful white outfit with just a face on the garment, right? So this is a beautiful piece where you see a lot of emotions in it. Okay, the moment you look at this picture or the garment, you will see that a woman is waiting for someone or just looking outside, waiting, and in a very emotional way, right? Another very interesting designer who in terms of emotional design is Iris van Harpen. She's a Dutch designer, and she is creating designs from 3D printing. When you see her garment, the garments are moving themselves. You will see a lot of 3D printed panels, and the moment a model walk, the entire garment start floating, right? So you will realize that you are sitting in a boat, in a maybe in a river or in a lake, and you're trying to float away with that. So you have certain emotions attached to it. So a mood board, as I suggested, is very interesting part of a designer's life, because that is going to those emotions for you, right? So the moment you attach emotion to a product, it start becoming valuable, and you start remembering them, and you will start being loved by a lot of clients. As I said, Chumbak is one of the brand that it is not possible that you walk into a Chumbak store and you don't connect to a product. You will eventually connect to them. Okay, and that's the beauty of emotional design. And the moment who is working with Chumbak, and he was telling me that they kind of design product just on the base of memories, how and when and where those memories were created, and they only make business, they only make money on this, on emotional design. Okay, so every time you're going to design a product, you should be trying to tell a story, you should be a good storyteller, and then also you should try and sell emotions. The moment you sell an emotion, and I'm sure a lot of people these days, I'm sure every one of you is on Instagram trying to make a reel. If you're making something, you try to make a reel of that process from day 1 to day 2, day 3, day 4. A lot of reels that you see online on Instagram also are reels where people are trying to lose their weight. They will show a picture of them when they were heavy, and now they move on to the next day, now they move on to the third day, then now they move on to the fourth day. The moment they show their transmission or their transformation from day 1 to day 2, day 3, day 4, you as an audience who is sitting on Instagram, who does not know anything about them, you start connecting to them. It is very important to understand this. For example, if I'm a fashion designer and I want to people to connect to my product, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create memories for them. I'm going to show them, okay, this is how my fabric got dyed. I got it tie and dye. I was doing tie and dye myself. Then it went to the dyer. It dyed it. I opened it. Then I did my cardigans, did hand embroidery on it. Then my tailor stitched it, and then my pattern master was cutting it, and my tailor was stitching it, and then after the end of the day, it is on the dummy. The moment you show that emotional journey of a fabric from a regular fabric to a product that is full-fledged, which a customer can really buy, and I'm sure you can connect to it. These days, even all you young people are also making reels. They are trying to connect to their audience, showing them how they have achieved what they have achieved. Okay, so it is very important to emotionally attach to the people, right? Photography styling is another way to connect to people. And I'm sure you must have realized during COVID, there are a few things that really came up as an industry. The first thing that came up was cosmetic industry. almost everyone became a makeup artist, right? People were trying to show, okay, this is me and this is how I'm going to put my makeup and this is what I transform. These reels were very, very popular and are still very popular, because what they are trying to do is they're trying to involve themselves emotionally into your own life. You might start thinking after looking at that Moa's makeup yourself, is that if she can do it, I can also do it, right? So this is the beauty of anything that has emotions to it. It kind of work out a way into your life. So this is what, as a designer, you should also be doing. You should also look at things emotionally, design things as an emotional, and I'm not saying that emotional design is the only way to design, but yes, it's a very, very impactful, powerful tool that as a designer we have to design things that people should love. People should want them to carry back home. Okay. Another very, very classic example of emotional designs is, for example, if we have Olympics next year in India, a lot of people across the globe are going to come to India. They're going to buy small, small little products and they're going to carry it back home. Why are they doing that? They are doing it because they want to be emotionally attached to those products, and that's what a selling point of a product is, right? So it is very important to do that. Styling is another very, very good classic example of emotionally involving people. And I'm sure you must have heard a lot about sustainability, reusing, remaking, upcycling, recycling. All these are very, very common words that almost every youngster is hearing these days, right? There are so many fashion stylists or social media bloggers. What they're doing is they pick up an old jacket, they team up with one sari, and then suddenly you will realize, okay, let me also do it. What you're going to do is you're going to go inside your wardrobe, pick up one of your old sari, and then you try to mix up. What you're doing is you're creating memory, you're saving the memories, right? So, and you're designing something, you're styling something. Okay, so it is very important to have that connection with your product. Okay, as a designer, as a consumer yourself, you can have a connect to your clothes, you can have connect to your shoes, you can have connect to your hair. A lot of people, you must be understanding, there are different type of hairstyle, right? For example, if you want to make your hair look like this 90s hair, you will have it certain other way. If you want to make it royal, so you will think about Elizabeth think of someone else. So this is how hair also is a very, very important part of emotional design. Makeup is another very, very important part. Jewelry. I'm sure you must have seen Sabyasachi's jewelry, and the whole marketing around that jewelry section is emotions. Emotions of a Rani Maharani that used to wear such heavy uncut diamonds and polkis and other things. And suddenly, when you look at there are other jewelry designers like Varma Jewelers and all. So what they do is they do sleek design, but Sabyasachi do majestic design. He uses a lot of uncut diamonds. He uses a lot of precious and non-precious jewelries, right? So this is very, very important to connect to a product. Another very, very interesting way to connect to any product is photography. How you emotionally want to display a product, how you emotionally want to style a product, and how you emotionally want to capture that product. Okay, so I'm sure every one of you are are on Instagram. Every time you click a picture, you want to share a memory or maybe a look onto the social media, right? So you will think, okay, is the background right? While we were setting up for this workshop, the host was telling me that we need to have a particular background. Is it right? Is it wrong? We took a 5-10 minute session so that we have things at the right place and people are involved, right? From not just designing to marketing to styling the product to photography. Um, can we have some questions or should I just Can I have some questions, people, before I move on to this case study?
Yes, sir. So we'll take up the queries at the end of your presentation.
Okay, okay, chicken.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm almost done. So there's this beautiful and classic case study that we have. It is about an iconic logo that we see and people are crazy about is Apple, right? So it is an Apple logo that was created in 1977. It was 1976, and you will be surprised to know that this picture that you see on your screen is Apple's one of the first logos that we had. Okay, and this is a humongous design, maybe appropriate for that particular time, but it was not long that these people realized that this logo is too intense. It is Newton sitting under a tree and an apple falling on top of him, and you have a lot of quotation, lot of wrapping around, a lot of emblem that happens in this logo. And then they realize, okay, this is something that is not feasible as a design to be taken onto every gadget that they were producing at that point in time, but also very cumbersome for the clients. They don't know what to look at and what to focus on it. So in 1977, they come up with this rainbow logo, which was a stripe of multicolors, and then eventually they landed up into an iconic logo that we have today, which is silver, white, and black, right? But there is a whole case study that was involved. There was a whole evolution of this logo, how it started from this and how it reached here. Okay, so there are three theories that goes around, and how Apple has become such an emotional logo to you as a customer. This is also very, very important to understand. The three theories that are the first one of them is Adam and Eve. Eve took a bite of this apple and they were thrown out of heaven just because of that bite that they took, right? So the bite that you see in this particular fruit represent that bite that Eve took, and suddenly you have mythology involved. Suddenly you have a lot of religion, spiritualism involved in it. Suddenly you start connecting to you. Suddenly this logo start connecting to you on a more spiritual level, right? The other theory that happens is on the practical level. And what is that theory? The theory is that this logo that you see is not a cherry. It is not a cherry. This bite that you see on this apple represent that it is an apple. It is not a cherry, right? It might be mistaken as a cherry if it does not have a bite. This bite shows, because obviously you eat a cherry, you don't bite a cherry. It's a small piece of fruit. You just pop it up and you're done, right? But for an apple, you need to bite it. So to differentiate between an apple and a cherry, they have shown this bite. So suddenly you have different memories coming in, right? Though another very, very interesting concept that theory that revolves around Apple is bite, B-Y-T-E. If you see on the second last paragraph on the left, it is it also lends itself to a near nerdy play on the word byte, which is B-Y-T-E, a fitting reference from tech company. So computer works on byte. Byte into an apple is equal to 6. That was one of the logos, one of the punchline that Apple had at some point in time, which is BYT as bytes into an apple, which is 666 US dollar. So Apple also has seen its own share of emotional design, how to connect to a particular consumer in what particular way. So this is how it is done, and the more you involve emotionally to your client, the more it becomes iconic. And Apple is one of the most iconic brands, the most remembered, recalled value it has in the world. Okay, yeah. So, so another very interesting conclusion that I like to draw here is that creative thinking is a process. Okay, it is not something that people. There are people who are trained creative and who are born creative. I like to call myself as a trained creative person. I observe a lot. I do small little things, small project to enhance my creativity. I train my mind. I was asked this question long back with a friend of mine. She asked me, Firoz, do you think that you are a good designer? And I told her, after taking a pause of like few seconds, I told her, Manika, I don't know about that, but the only thing that I can tell you is that I can make things better. This is something that really stood with me over a period of time, and creative thinking is a very interesting part of my life. How do I do that? I observe a lot, I think a lot, and I usually solve problems. Okay, so this is something that I can really vouch for myself. I can really tell stories. I can design emotional product where you start connected with them. I can design product, I can design garments, just by understanding my client. Okay, by just talking to them for a moment and try and understand what they want. I'm sure you must have seen a lot of cakes. These people are designing these. They're designing beautiful pastries, cupcakes, and the moment you look at them, oh, you will be like, oh, this looks so nice. The moment you have that awe thing coming from you as a consumer, that's the time when you can say that the designer has succeeded in creating a product which is emotional, and it has connected to you on emotional level. So I like to conclude with that. So I like to think creative. Creativity is an exercise done daily. So think creative, think different about all. Be a storyteller, and the moment you are a good storyteller, you will realize that you are connecting to your client on emotional level. Guys, that's all from my side. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Rajas sir. Rajas sir, as Ruby's, yeah, on placements and all placements, yeah. So Rajas sir is associated with us at Lovely School of Fashion, and he is a mentor to a lot of people. To me individually, I like to sit with them, talk to him, and I'm sure he can also tell you how emotions are also very important, how they can lead you to a much better designer as an individual. And also he will be talking about how at Lovely we are trying to channelize those creativity and giving good opportunities to our student to become a good designer. So over to you, Rajas sir. I'll mute myself. Yeah.
Thank you, Firoz sir. That was a very interesting session. Every time Firoz sir actually comes up with his creative ideas, it's so nice, because even for a person like me who has so much of experience, it's always great to see the kind of creativity that it makes from him, you know. And every day, and since we are colleagues and we work together, I see a spark of new things coming up from him all the time. And this is absolutely fantastic for our students, because there are very few people in the world, you know, who constantly are developing things, who are constantly designing new things, and are constantly conceptualizing new things. And like Firoz very rightly said today and explained to all of you, that ultimately, you know, creativity is something which needs to come from within. But please don't forget the one very important point that he said about himself, and that is what every design thinking person in you must actually develop, is to please notice everything. The littlest of things can be an inspiration. Who are good designers already and will go very far in the designing world because of, you know, everything that they see it in detail. And in the luxury business, you know, we always have a saying which is called God is in the details, and therefore this is something very important that let me quickly get to you that at LPU, and especially our fashion design school, we have a very interesting cell which looks after, especially for placements, who look after especially for keeping touch with the industry, and especially with yours truly having spent almost 47 years in the industry, it becomes so much more easier for us to not only connect with the industry people, but also with the designers, with the creative people. And therefore, what we do is right from day one, once our students join us, we start evaluating them and their likes and dislikes. So each one of the students that we have with us, and I hope in future we will have quite a few of you come and study with us, we ensure that we do a complete work study on each student's skill, your likes, your dislikes, where you would like to be 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, and we create that pathway for you and use your intelligence level, use your creativity to ensure that we channel you to the right path and take you to the right and give you the right direction that you need to go into the industry. You'll be pleased to know that our placements are way above 85% to 90%. The rest 10% who we don't place either become entrepreneurs, or they open up their own businesses, or they are people who go in for higher studies. And so we are very confident that everyone that comes to us at LPU is not only groomed well, we spend a lot of time on constructing and grooming our students so that you are absolutely in sync with the industry. We expose all our students a lot of times into the industry. Right now, our worthy chancellor has initiated projects where we would soon be making the students spend a year or even a couple of years in the industry with designers, with industry people, with manufacturing people, to understand firsthand and become hands-on people to work side by side with the industry, keeping in mind that you have certain amount of classroom time to also spend. But end of the day, it's the practical drive which is going to make you into those extra special students who would be taking up either design or taking up other forms of the apparel industry as your future guideline. So here tools, we have all the platforms, all the creative platforms, and all the tools for you. So you're most welcome to ask any questions, which would be either to Feroz sir or to me on any of your questions that would be, adding value to this whole webinar. And I would definitely like you to now invite you to have your questions put forward. Thank you. Thank you, Ruby. I think it's been a wonderful session by Feroz sir. Very, very creative that he is, and so well explained. I mean, the students simply love him. Our faculty members like us, we just simply love him. And for the kind of dedication he puts in, and that dedication showed itself in this fabulous show that we have, the fashion show that we recently had in Delhi with the Times Week, and it was thanks a lot to Feroz, who really did such a wonderful job in creating and helping all our students reach that platform. So over to you, Ruby, for some of the questions.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, Rajat sir and Feroz sir. And yes, rightly said, Rajat sir, Feroz sir is such a dynamic personality we have in our university, such innovative thinker and passionate about the work that we can see that thing in his presentation. So thank you so much, sir, for intensifying and magnifying the knowledge of our attendees. And after this, I'm sure that attendees will be proficient in emotional design, how to design a product, and will sparkle this change expertise. So thank you so much, sir. And I believe that you will come again with such wonderful and effective webinars in the future. So we and attendees will definitely wait for this. And with this, yes, sir, we have few queries from the attendees. So with your permission, we take up those queries.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right, sir. Okay, so sir, there is a query from Tanishka Rathod. So the query is, how can we bring out new thoughts or some kind of unique design because most designs we think of are already up somewhere. So what do you like to comment on this, sir? Any one of you
May I
can
know
just
the may I know the question was from?
Tanishka Rathod.
Tanishka. Tanishka, is a very interesting topic, a question that you have asked me. And when you look at fashion per se also, it is recurring. What you see in fashion today is going to be not in fashion tomorrow, and it's going to revert back in a new form day after tomorrow. So this is something very, very interesting, because design, as someone said, that there's nothing more to design anymore. So, but I have a different take on it. Emotional design is the new form of design that you will be seeing a lot later on. Whenever you enter into a fashion store, you will find a person who is going to be asking you a few questions. For example, I'm into Indian couture. If you enter an Indian couture garment, no matter whose designer it is, there are few questions that are being asked to you. The first question is where you want to wear it, how you want to wear it, how many people are going to be in that function. I'm sure, Ruby, you are smiling. This question must have been asked to you, right? And how many people are going to be there, and is it a day wedding or a night wedding, or what kind of emotion that you want to show in your wedding, right? So these are the questions that really brings out the best design and customization. Okay, so it is not essentially what you have already seen, is how you want to redesign it to make it fit into a person's liking. Okay, observation is one important trait that I've been talking on and on about. So you need to observe. You need to observe. Psychology is also very, very important. You need to understand the psychology of a consumer, what your consumer want to see and where and how, right? These questions, the moment you are able to answer these questions, you will not be worried about I have seen it somewhere. You don't have to be worried about what you will be worried about, what your consumer want, what kind of color. The moment you customize a product, it's a new design in itself. Okay, there is another very, very interesting thing that I talked about very briefly in my presentation about a designer called Iris Van Harpen. She is not only a fashion designer. What she does is she involves a lot of technology into her design, right? So the moment you have not just one part of design involved into your design, you involve another segment of designing, it becomes very, very interesting, right? 3D printing, total technological, fashion is garments, right? The moment you involve them together, you have something. So this is a very, very good time. In fact, for in LPU also, that what we promote is interdisciplinary, right? So we try to involve 2-3 different colleges, different schools together for a project. The moment we do that, the designing is lifted from here to another level, right? So observation is one key. Involving people from different domain is another key to make different product. So this is something that can really help you. I hope I answered the question.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much. And as you were discussing about it, we have a similar kind of question from Anhat. The question is that what are the elements for emotional designing? I think you have covered up the few points, but if you would like to add something to this.
The biggest element that you need to really ace is emotions. You need to understand what story you want to tell to your client and how you want to tell your client. You don't have to make buildings to show that you are an emotional designer. You can make small little products. Those small little products are a piece of your emotions, right? For example, as a fashion designer, what we do is we design clothes for almost every occasion, like for wedding, for reception, for sangeet, for this, that, this. So you don't have to really create big facades to show your creativity. Small little projects also really help. So as a student, I usually recommend to pick up small little projects in your life, do them well, take the feedback and improve them. That's how you're going to become more creative, more polished, more confident in your designs.
I completely agree with you, sir. Thank you so much. So another question, a very interesting question has popped up. So it's from Tenzin. He's saying that if our emotions are attached to the product, then God forbidden if that doesn't work good in the market, that product doesn't work good in the market, then how to overcome from that phase? So what is the motivation and how in LPU we learn about this?
Okay, So it's very interesting question, and a lot of people. I usually say this that what happens as a design student. What we think that our first idea is the best idea. Okay, we land up thinking like that, right? Because we are so attached to that particular idea that you don't want to get away with it, right? So it is very interesting. It's a very challenging to do that. As a student, what I used to do and what I was advised by my teacher to do is sleep over that design. You think about one design and you are stuck to it so badly that you don't want to think something else. Just leave it for one day and don't do anything about it. Come next day, look at it with fresh mind, fresh ideas. If that is also not helping, please ask other people to talk about it. Convince them how is it a good idea, and please be open, very open to different ideas flowing from different areas. I like to do it with my best friend. I'm doing it with him for last 15 years. Believe me, even if I have to write an email and if I'm too stuck with one idea, I call him up and I can, Varun, can you just read it out for me? Because a second opinion is very important. Rajesh sir is sitting with me. I keep on going to him. I keep on visiting him, asking him things, because over a period of time, you really want that to come out of your comfort zone, and a different perspective always helps. Okay, so and how this is one idea how to get away with it. Sleep over with and try and find more connected ideas. Okay, so I'm sure you will be better when you have 2-3 ideas coming in, right? How to get over with it? It is an emotional journey because you're emotionally attached. You will have to figure out yourself, because no one really can tell you. But I usually tell this mixing professionalism is also very important to emotions, right? So you should not be it is very dangerous psychologically, or so that you get obsessed with one particular emotion. You should not be obsessing about things. So obsession, I believe, to an extent is good in terms of design, but as you age, as you grow, you become more experienced in your life, I'm sure you will be able to control that. Initially, it's going to really bother you for a while, but that's okay. That's a part of becoming a good seasoned designer. That's a journey.
Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Raja, sir, you have experience. You have so much experience. You might have witnessed these kind of situation. You might have met these kind of people with this situation. So, what you would like to suggest to the attendee? So, you are not audible.
Sir, you can speak here. Register can speak here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, like Firoz sir rightly, these moments you got to probably first assess what you would like to do, and then of course it's important that we come across, and if you do not have the right answers in your mind and all that, discuss with somebody, discuss, go to your colleague, go to your senior, somebody to basically, what we say is always browbeat it, before you take an actual decision, because it always helps in the industry when you're working. Say you're stuck for answers in a particular way where you are probably in merchandising or in designing or marketing, and you simply think that, all right, fine, I don't have the solution to this. So what do? You either go and speak to your immediate supervisor, your immediate boss, your immediate manager or general manager, and to thrash out things as to how and if things have to be done. Normally, when we company, or even about somebody who's you're going to say, how do I today, I have this brand label, and where, at what level do I want to place it? What would you do? You'd make a SWOT analysis. You would make a SWOT analysis as to, this is my brand, this is where I want it to be, so at what level should it be, at what price point should it be, what kind of garment should I be making into this. So there is always a way to get the right answer and to be able to get the right feedback from your people around you, and also from discussing this with different sources that you can ask for help.
One important point I like to raise here is the communication. This, as rightly said, talking is talking. The more you communicate about your design, the more you communicate to you, to your friends, to your surrounding. And as a student, when you go and communicate to your faculty member, the more you get clear the more you clear your thoughts, the more it becomes interesting for you, and the more positive you become about your product. Positivity and confidence in your product is very important, and it always comes from communication, understanding your client, understanding what having the feedback and incorporating those feedback. Very important. Communication for me, I think I can say on register behalf also, communication is the key. It is very, very important. Whether you speak in any language, yeah, it is extremely important.
Yes, sir. I completely agree with you. So with this, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Rajat sir, Firoz sir, for resolving all the queries of our attendees. And now we'll quickly move to our admission expert, Mr. Neeraj Sharma. So, sir, over to you for the content regarding the admission process.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So before we switch to the presentation part, right, I would like to brief you about the details of LPU first. So we'll just have a detailed glimpses and then we'll switch on to the presentation part. So as far as LPU is concerned, we are India's largest private university in terms of area and number of students on a single campus. So we have only one campus in India, and that is situated in Fagwara, very close to Jalandhar in Punjab. And it's such a huge campus that it is spread over more than 600 acres of land. And if you talk about strength, we have more than 30,000 students who are studying here, and they're from 50 different countries. So you can very well imagine people coming from 50 different countries means we have good placement records, we have very fabulous faculties with us, and as far as the practical knowledge and trainings are concerned, we are far better in terms of infrastructure, trainings and everything in comparison to our competitors. And if I talk about facilities, we have each and every facility available within the campus itself. Like if I tell you, we have a very huge mall here in the campus, we do have a very big hospital, then we have separate hostel facility for boys and girls which are 100% secure. Then we have a huge indoor stadium, we have banks, ATMs, post office, more than 100 food courts. So whatever a student needs in a day-to-day life, all such facilities are available within the campus itself. Now let's move on to the presentation part. So I'll just move on and I'll show you that what all facilities and other things and the achievements of our students. So if I talk about the very first slide, so we feel proud to share that when the Olympic Games were held in Tokyo in Japan in 2021, which got postponed, 13 of the LPU students participated and they have brought laurels not only to LPU but to the nation, to our country as well, because 10% of the Indian Olympic participants were LPU students. And another feather to a cap, right, LPU team lifts runners-up trophy at Khelo India University Games, and none other than the Honorable Minister Mr. Amit Shah along with the Sports Minister Mr. Anurag Thakur, he awarded the runners-up trophy to LPU team at the Khelo India University Games. And if I talk about rankings, I feel proud to share that we stand at 74th position globally as per the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings of 2022. Another very good ranking given by the Times Higher Education World University Rankings of 2022, we stand at 36th position among the top universities of India. It includes both government as well as private universities. And if I brief you about the subject-wise ranking, we are second in business and economics, 8th in clinical and health, 9th in computer science, and 10th in engineering. Another very good ranking given by the Atal Rankings of Institutions on Innovation Achievements, we stand at 3rd position in India. It's a very proud movement to share that I would like to tell you that yes, as far as the NIRF ranking is concerned of 2022, which is released by Government of India, Ministry of Education, at present we stand at 47th position, which is a very big achievement, because you can say we are among the top 50 as per the NIRF ranking released by the Government of India. Now talking about the campus life and the exposures offered. So in the very first slide, you can see none other than our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. He was here at our campus in LPU, and he was the one who inaugurated our Indian Science Congress in 2019. Then, of course, His Holiness Dalai Lama, he was here with us in our campus in one of the functions. Then you can see in the next slide, these are the two former presidents, one ex-president of Afghanistan and ex-president of India. They were the ones who shared the dice at one of our convocations. Then late Finance Minister of India, Shri Arun Jaitley ji, he was here with us, and he was the one who inaugurated the startup school. Then Gohar Gopal Das, the spiritual guru, he was here with us in our campus and shared his life experiences and his teachings with our students and faculty members. Then none other than the Bollywood icons. You can see in the slide Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, and of course so many actors. They have been visiting our LPU campus and encouraging the students with their life experiences. In the next slide, you can see the heartthrob cricketer MS Dhoni. He was here with us, and he of course shared his experiences with our students. Then coming to the infrastructure part of the university, and if I show you this picture, this is the picture of the inside campus view, which shows the 14 blocks back to back, including the library and the ECE department. And this is the auditorium we have, which has a capacity of more than 2,500 people in one go. And this is the mall I was talking about. It's the huge mall which is situated within the campus itself. Then the inner view of the mall with all the facilities available here in the campus. Then the library, which is fully automated library and which is functional 24/7 for the benefit of the students. Some of the recreational facilities available with us, like you can see the bowling array, then of course the gymnasium, fully equipped gymnasium is there. This is the hospital I was talking about. We do have a 25 bedded hospital and a dental chair available within the campus itself. This is the inner view of the hospital. And yes, this is the indoor stadium which I talked about earlier. It's such a huge indoor stadium that we have Olympic size swimming pool within this indoor stadium. Along with that, we do have facilities like badminton courts, volleyball courts, then of course squash courts and other facilities available in the indoor stadium. Then yes, this is the view of the you can say the gun shooting range is also available within the campus itself. Then the panoramic view of our campus and the night view. Now quickly moving to the next part, that if somebody wants to have the details of a particular program, like recently Firoz sir was talking about the fashion designing, and he gave the very important points related to the program. So let's say somebody is interested to join our program in LPU. So what you need to do is you need to visit our site, which is lpu.in. So once you reach the first page, you need to click on admissions part, and here you'll find different programs available depending on your eligibility and the area of interest. Now somebody looking for a program after 12th, which is an undergraduate program, you need to click here regular programs. Then you will find the different options available with us, and according to your eligibility criteria and desired program, you need to click on that program. Like if I talk about fashion designing, if I'm interested, I look for fashion here, I'll click on this part. Then these are the programs which are available with us. We do have BSc, which is a 3 years degree with 6 semesters. We do have B design also in fashion, which is a 4 years degree. And of course, B design fashion with 2+2 international credit transfer options are also available. So if I just take an example of B Design Fashion, which is a 4 years degree, right? So this will give you a glimpse of the details of the program, that what is the eligibility criteria, what is the fee structure. So quickly I'll just go through the eligibility criteria. That the criteria says that you need to have 50% aggregate marks in 10+2 and must have studied English as a compulsory subject. Along with that, either you will be qualifying our in-house test, which is called LPU Nest, or you should have cleared that UC exam, which is a national level test, or undergraduate NID prelims or undergraduate NIFT, depending on the program, right? So once the eligibility criteria is fulfilled, you need to proceed for admission, and these are the details of the curriculum. You can have a look of and just go through the details, that what all subjects will be taught in the first year, second, third, fourth, and in autumn terms you can see what all will be taught to you in spring term. Then coming to the fee part, so these are the elective subjects offered in the curriculum, right? Then fee says that the fee for this program is 1,20,000 per semester without any scholarship. But what we are doing is we are giving very good scholarships, and all the scholarships are divided into 3 different parts, right? And there are different criteria through which scholarships are given to the students. Now, the very first category through which a student can win scholarship is on the basis of our test, which is called LPU Nest. Now, let us assume with an example that a student has already appeared for the test and even the result is out. I'm talking about LPU Nest test. So if the test, the score of the test falls in category 3, bracket 3, student will get 28% scholarship, and the applicable fee for him is 86,400 per semester. Now let's say he or she improves little bit better and the score falls in category 2. In that case, the student will be given 38% scholarship and the fee will be 74,400 per semester. Similarly, if the score falls in cutoff 1, you get 48% scholarship and the fee will be 62,400 per semester. Similarly, there are other categories also through which scholarships can be won. Like you can see on the screen, apart from that LPU Nest test, if a student scores a particular rank in NIFT or a percentile more than a particular number or a UCD rank, in that case, we are giving scholarships depending on the national level test also. Similarly, the other category through which you can win scholarship is on the basis of 12th percentage also. So, but somebody scoring between 80 to 89.99 gets 28% scholarship. If the percentage in 12th is 90 to 94.99, you get 38%. And if the percentage in 12th is 95 and above, you get 48% scholarship. But please do remember one thing, that even if you are eligible for more than one scholarship, can be 2, 3, 4, but we at LPU will give you only one scholarship, and that too which is best. Let's say you are eligible for 3 different categories for scholarship. So at the time of admission, we'll just compare them, and in whichever category you are getting the best scholarship will be given to you. And another good part in LPU is that whatever scholarship you win in the very first semester, that gets carried forward for the complete program. Now it's a 4 years degree. So somebody winning 48% scholarship will be eligible for this particular scholarship for all 4 years, all 8 semesters. There's no need of appearing for the scholarship test again and again. Automatically, the student will be eligible for the same scholarship throughout. So similarly, these are the other categories through which a student can win scholarships on the basis of other categories also, right? Now, do remember the last dates, that the last date to apply for LPU Nest test is 31st of July. So you have to rush off, you need to apply immediately. And the last date of examination is 5th of August. So once you are appearing for the test, even when the result is out, within 48 hours, you'll come to know about your result. and after the result is out, within 7 days after the declaration of the result, you need to proceed for admission immediately. Right. Now coming to the immediately the other part, like somebody who wants to jot down the details of the program, right? So if you want to jot down, please take a look at this slide. You need to visit our LPU site, which is lpu.in. We do have an email ID. You can just drop a mail here and we'll be more than happy to give you the solution for your queries. So the email ID is admissions@lpu.co.in. And if you just want to give us a ring and get your query solved, just give us a ring on these numbers. The numbers are 01824 517 000. Another number is 404404. And last but not the least, I would like to tell you that of course somebody who wants to know the details through the webinars. So on the same website page, lpu.in, on the same first slide, on the extreme left, you will find few tabs. And in one of the tabs where it is written LPU's Edu-Webinar webinars, you need to click on this. And once you are aware that yes, the upcoming webinars are on so and so topics, you can simply join the webinars depending on the date and the topic of your requirement. And if you want to go through the details of the webinars which have already been held, you can have the glimpses of those webinars also. So depending on the interest of the student, you can just go through the webinars. So you can see from here the upcoming webinars and the ones which have already been completed. Thank you so much for your time. Wish you all the best and have a nice day. Over to you, Rigu ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for the detailed information about the admission process. I'm sure that attendees have gained all the information how to route towards the website and get all the information about the admission. So thank you so much, sir. With this, we'll conclude today's webinar. Thank you, attendees, for sparing time and participating in today's webinar. We appreciate you all for being here, and I believe your knowledge has been enriched by today's webinar. Also, I would like to express my appreciation to the experts for their valuable contribution for today's webinar. I'm sure your years of research, your years of experience will definitely help the audience to choose the right path. So until next time, I, Ruby Gill, finally sign off the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.